Well, here we are, video 3, talking about breakaway lessons. Hello, my name is Guy D'Angelo, and I'm here to discuss what I call breakaway lessons. So, breakaway lessons are basically a way to have freedom. They're a way to have freedom. So for some of us, they would be lessons about freedom. And for some of us, they'll be lessons about breaking away. So give me a second. I'll be brief, but I'd like to discuss why these would be considered breakaway lessons for a drummer. So, we've talked about basic lessons, and I hope that I've given a decent general description there. There's always a little bit of overlap between levels of lessons. We've also talked about advanced lessons and professional lessons. And again, there's always a little bit of overlap there. But, that for a lot of drummers, that's it. You go there, you play drums, you back up a band, and that's wonderful. But for me, I consider these to be breakaway lessons because I started playing as a young person because I needed to. I needed to play. I liked the freedom involved with it. There was things going on in life that I needed to focus on, focus my attentions away from to a degree. I needed something else besides some things that were very tough. And playing drums really gave that to me. It gave me something to focus on. I had no intention of becoming a professional drummer. I just had no intention of it. It was just something that I wanted to do, and I wanted to do very well. And in regards to doing it well, I got involved in playing music with other people, and that was fun. It was experimental, and did that for a number of years, and I kept wanting to get better. And I noticed that there's opportunities to get better, but I was always working. I was always going out, and I was always renovating houses, and I noticed Bruce Lee. I'm not a big fan, except to say that he did something phenomenal. And I thought, wow, how did Bruce Lee get so good? And I'm really not sure, but in my mind, it was he started to make money at what he did, which gave him opportunity to spend more time at it. And that also, in my mind, at least back then, gave him opportunity to get really good. And I wanted to continue to get really good, so I thought about, well, if I'm not always working, renovating houses, and I find jobs with playing and teaching music, well, then that's cool. I'll be spending more time at it. So I did that. And then once I became a professional musician, it changed my perspective of things. And I noticed that there were certain rules and certain things that happened. And I went with those things, those are things that I was experiencing and learned to be a good drummer in a band. And I learned that being in a band, there's a couple ways of being in a band. You can be a full participant. You can be a group member, or you can back up a band. And basically, I think that there's two approaches to that. I won't get deep into that, but it's an experience that I had. And then I had experiences where I spent years, 5-6 years in a group. Then it came time to doing some copywriting where I had spent a lot of time on the parts. I had contributed some music for that. And I want to say here, I loved my experiences. They weren't always happy. They weren't always full of joy, but they have given me insight. They have given me experience, and I choose to be better rather than bitter. But one of the reasons I consider these to be breakaway is because in looking at how to play in a group, and specifically in looking how to be a group member, and to turn around and find out that not all members are treated equal. And I think we can all say that if we have been in the music business or in the music business, there is a music business, that not all monies get distributed equally. And I can go on to say that there's music out there in the world right now that I don't have at my fingertips that I would have to pay for to get a hold of. And I spent years participating in putting that music together. And again, I want to say, blessings to everybody. I am not angry. It's just something that happened. And the fact that it happened gave me reason to think about doing things differently. So I did. I started thinking about doing things differently. One of the things was, hey, you know what? If you're a music teacher and one student walks away in regards to your finances, you're not totally devastated. But a lot of times, if you're in a group, especially a group where each individual is contributing a good amount and making that group what they are, if one person decides to leave, then there's a lot of change. And that could be sad for somebody, but for somebody, it could be sad for someone that also makes their living elsewhere. But in regards to if your sole living is from playing and teaching music, that can be devastating. But if you're teaching and one student walks away, well, that's not going to end your business. That's just not going to end your business at all. So that door opened up. And then I wanted to continue to play, but I didn't want to continue to play the same way. So I had to break away. So that's why I consider this type of music to be a breakaway type of playing, story-based playing. And so not to talk about myself, but to talk about the experience, I took a lot of what I did out to audiences. And some people loved it, and some people just didn't get it. And I get that. I mean, it's different. It's not the same as a lot of drumming. Some people listen to it and could hear a whole band in it, even though it was just drums. And some people just didn't get it. And so, I personally had some change of life, and I searched God, and I wanted to figure out what it is that I should be doing. So I took a number of years, and this is what I was led to. Storytelling, but bringing in different sounds, bringing in some melodies and some notes. And so now, where are we? Where am I? I'm at this new Breakaway place. I'm at a freedom place. And so I overheard someone say something a long time ago, and it really stuck with me. They were going to go out and they were going to play music, and what were they going to do? They're just going to talk to everybody. They're just going to talk. And that's a big part of what this is. This breakaway music, playing freely, it's just talking. In a lot of ways, it's just talking. And so at first, when I started to get into this, I thought, well, this is for really experienced people. And I really thought that. It's not. This is a place that can be for everyone at every level. Now, I need to say that, how can I say? It's about talking. But, if you just kind of babble a lot and you don't say anything, well, who's going to listen? So the freedom is there to do something. In other words, if you've never played before and you want to do something like this, the freedom's there. But I suggest that you also learn rhythmic values and how to express yourself and how to feel and how to play lightly, how to play with a light touch and how to be passionate and get strong and dig on that. So breakaway lessons are for people that want to do something other than just be in a band. So there's nothing wrong with being in a band. I like being in bands, but this is something that gives me opportunity to be able to go and play music without the need of a band, and people like it. I can take this and I can go and play in front of an audience and people like it. And that's really cool for me. So I'm not limited to just being in a band. And that's why I consider this to be Breakaway. Where if you've never been in a band and you've never had experiences that bring some negativity to the music world that you live in, well, then it's just a freedom. And that's awesome. And that's really good. So that's where the path that I've gone down is a benefit to someone that's never gone down that. You just get this opportunity to have freedom. So let me go and let me say this, that this is what I chose. I'm still growing in this. There's a lot of room for growth, and I love that. I've been at this a lifetime, and I still have room to grow. So that's really cool. So this is one voice. I've tried to sing, and I've never really gotten to a point where I like my singing, so I don't sing. For other people, I just don't. I don't think it would be a gift. But people say, and I get what they say when they say, to have two singers in a group is really good for an audience. I totally get that. So in my future, I plan to get a couple of these. there'll be a little bit of something that I have to go through to get them on there, or to get them situated on my drum set, I should say. Kind of like, a bunch of people sitting on a couch and nobody really knows where you can put your arms because you got to spread out. There's challenges to get this onto the drum set, but I'll work through that and get another one. So I'll get another voice. But this is what I chose to do. I chose to get different sound makers. Right now all these microphones are off, so you can't really hear them all that well. And play something that has a melody to it. And I really like it. It brings my drumming to another level. I find it to be really interesting. But with that, I get to use the drumming skills that I put together for over a lifetime. They're a little bit different in the way that I have to get around the drum set. And I'm going to show that to you over on the Insights page at drumsandsoundingcymbals.com. So I encourage you to go there and get a little bit more in depth. But I want you to know that if you choose to go down this road of musical freedom with me and take lessons, you don't have to set up the way that I set up. You don't have to have a drum like this. You don't have to have a drum set. You can use different things. Over in my woodworking shop, I'm building what's called log drums or tongue drums. It's similar to this, but it's made of wood, and it's tuned, so it has notes to it. So, I do encourage that kind of a thing. Otherwise, we could go back to the advanced lessons and the beginning stages of Breakaway, and there's a lot of cool things in there. But this is set up for, sometimes I think it's a little bit funny because, again, I thought to myself, well, you really need to be advanced. We're bringing polyrhythms in here. We're getting really over the top with how we're mixing different textures and how we're having a lot of control. I think that to some degree a 4-year-old would love this. I do, especially if we're using wooden tongue drums or also called log drums. You can find those online. So you're invited. You're invited to contact me. You'll find the contact information at drumsandsoundingcymbals.com. There you'll find my phone number. You'll find my email address. So contact me, and we'll have a conversation and see if this musical freedom, if you've never felt limited by your position as a drummer, or Breakaway, if you have found yourself limited as a drummer. So you have freedom. You don't have to be bound to only get an audience and to find a way to express yourself. You don't have to be bound to a band. You can have musical freedom with what you're doing here. And I can show you how to do that. I can share ways that I do this or answer your questions. I can guide you according to where you want to go. And if you don't know where you want to go, I can make suggestions. And those suggestions aren't, forcing you in a door. It's just something that I've experienced and have put a lot of time into. This has taken me years to figure out. This is not the same as just playing open on a drum set. And I'd love to share those things with you. The same kind of control that I can show you in advanced or professional drum playing, the same kind of control that it can take to use your hands is applied here and then some. It takes a little bit more control. But we build up to that. It doesn't have to happen all at once, but I would love to share these things with you. So again, if you're interested in breaking away, if you're a drummer and you just want to do something else because, being in a band is the kind of thing where you have limitations to what you can play. And again, we don't always all feel limited. Sometimes being in a band can be a great thing. I've got plenty of great memories of being in a band. But if you feel like you want to do something else, if something's calling you to say, hey, there's something else, well, I can share this with you. And we can go down the road together and just open those doors and see where we get. Or if you just want to experience doing something different with drumming other than just standard drum playing, contact me. That's all I can say. Just contact me. We'll have a conversation and we'll see where we get. Again, the contact information is found at drumsandsoundingcymbals.com. and soundingcymbals.com. My name's Guy, and thank you very much for paying attention, and I hope to talk to you soon.